It's over 100 degrees outside today. So instead of going out to the grill, my wife and I decided we wanted to make something spicy and simple inside. So we're making slow cooker cornbread chili. This is a really simple recipe that uses basic ingredients for the slow cooker. Now my wife has already browned up 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef and pre-seasoned it with some salt and pepper to taste and a little bit of paprika. You can season it any way you want. This is just going to be that base of meat in the chili. But the thing we want to get ready right now is the cornbread mix that's going to top this chili. So in this blue bowl right here, I have a basic cornbread mix from a box. We're going to be making the batter that's going to go on top of this chili in the slow cooker. If you want to make your cornbread from scratch, you can, or if you have another sort of recipe or a box you want to use, go for it. You can use any cornbread you want. First thing we're going to add to this box of cornbread mix is a cup of milk. We're going to add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 1 large egg that's been beaten, and now we're just going to mix this up. We're just trying to incorporate everything to get it to be a smooth batter. Cornbread sometimes has lumps in it, so if you got a few lumps, don't worry about it. So our batter is mixed up, and to this we're going to add a chopped up small poblano chili. This is a very small poblano chili. Just want to get a little color and a little more flavor in here. It's not much. Won't be too hot. Now we set this aside and get the slow cooker ready to build this chili. We have our 2 pounds of ground beef that's already been browned in our 6-quart slow cooker. Now we're going to start adding ingredients. We've got a 28-ounce can of crushed peeled tomatoes. We're going to add tomato paste, about a small can of tomato paste. We've got about half an onion that's been chopped up. I'm going to mix this up a little bit before we add our spices. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of cumin, 3 tablespoons of garlic powder, 3 tablespoons of pasilla chili powder, and about 1.5 teaspoons each of salt and pepper. We're going to give this another stir right now to get these spices mixed in. Now remember, if you don't want to use this mix of spices or a lot of spices, you could use a pre-made spice mix for chili or taco seasoning or anything you want. Now we're going to add a 15-ounce can of pinto beans, a 15-ounce can of kidney beans, and a 15-ounce can of black beans. Give this another stir. Now these beans that came out of a can were drained, so we didn't add any of the bean liquid. I know some people do, and if you do that, that's okay. Now to this, we're going to add about 1/2 cup of water, and this is just if you think it needs more liquid. I think this needs a little more liquid. You could add chicken stock, vegetable stock, anything you want. Just adding plain water here because there's a lot of flavor in this already. Finish mixing this up, and then we are going to pat it down so we have sort of an even surface on the top here that we're going to add our cornbread mixture to. Now this cornbread batter is not thick. If you have a thick cornbread batter, you might need to spoon it out. This is thin enough to where we can pour it on top of this chili. Just going to let it settle. We're going to scrape out what's left in here. And you can see at this consistency, it sort of levels itself in there. And if your batter is thick and it doesn't cover the whole thing, that's fine. It's almost like cornbread drop biscuits on top then, and that'll actually be pretty good. So we've got this in here. We're going to get the lid on and set the temperature now. So we're going to set this slow cooker on high for 3 hours, but if you're going to do it over a longer period of time, you can do it for 6 or 7 hours on low. Now all there is to do is wait. I'll see you in about 3 hours. Okay, the 3 hours are up. Time to check it, see if it's ready or if it needs a little more time for that cornbread topping to firm up. Ooh, it smells good. Around the edge looks pretty good. Probably needs a little more. Actually, the center's not bad. I was expecting the center to need a little more, but I do think it needs a little more time. I'm thinking probably another half hour. All right, so we're going to let this keep going for another 30 minutes, and then we'll bring you back. Okay, there's our extra 30 minutes, so a total of 3 hours and 30 minutes, and I think we're going to be done. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah. Now some of this may be a little more like some cornbread pudding-y thing. You know, not quite as hard as you would expect cornbread to be, or flaky or anything like that, but that's part of this. When it's on top of the chili, it's absorbing those juices from underneath. So let's get some of this out of here, take a look at it, and taste it. Okay, it is time to eat. Got a little bit in a bowl here. I don't know if you can tell right here, but that cornbread came out perfect. Now you could put anything you want on top of this, some avocado, some sour cream. You could even put a little bit of honey on the cornbread. That would be good if you want to add some sweetness to this. But I'm ready to dive in as is. Here we go. Ooh. Wow, that is good. That is really good with that cornbread on top. Now you might have noticed when we made the chili, didn't really adjust for any seasoning. That's partly because my wife and I have made this chili so many times we know exactly what we want to put into it. So the chili is spot on the way we like it. You could change it, you could add more spice, less spice, anything you want. It's this cornbread topping that just finishes this dish off so perfectly. Now if you're worried that this would be like soggy or anything like that, look, there is the cornbread. It baked basically on top of this chili. It came out like cornbread. Really, really good. I'm actually having a piece of just the cornbread with a little bit of chili stuck to the bottom here. Get a little hint of that poblano. Like I said, that was a very small poblano, so it's just getting a little hint of that flavor. But poblano can have a nice little impact even in small packages. Get a little more chili with some cornbread here. I think the key here is you can make any chili you want, and you can use the slow cooker for this. I think you don't want it to be too wet. If you have a chili that's really liquidy and you put this cornbread mixture on top, I think it's going to kind of sink into it. I think you want it just slightly dry. That doesn't mean not moist, it just means you don't want it soupy when you add the cornbread mixture. Wow. This is really good. That cornbread is moist. It's a little crumbly, just like cornbread should be, but it's not dry or falling apart. It just complements this chili so well. I mean, so many people make chili with cornbread as a side. This is just combining the two and topping off the chili with cornbread. That was really good.
Totally would do that again.
Wow, that is really good.
Yeah.
And I just want to show you again. Here's cornbread. I'm holding it in my fingers. It's not soupy, it's not soggy, it's moist. It's cornbread cooked in a slow cooker on top of chili. So I'd say if you're faced with a hot day outside and you just can't bring yourself to get out to the grill or the smoker, fire up the slow cooker, make your favorite chili, top it with a cornbread mixture. Oh man, this was a success. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel and consider subscribing. And if you do, click that bell for notifications. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great evening. I'll see you again soon.